Inside the drug crisis on China's doorstep? That sounds fascinating. What is the drug crisis on China's doorstep?
In January 2024, police stopped a man in Porto Torres, Italy. In his bag was over 1 kilogram of heroin, specifically white heroin.
Okay.
The purest kind that only comes from one place, the region where Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar converge.
That's where the purest white heroin comes from? God forbid a man make a living. The Golden Triangle. Okay, that's where that comes from.
A few months later, India's Coast Guard found over 5 kilograms of methamphetamine on this boat registered in Myanmar. And 3 months after that, authorities rescued more than 7,000 people from a cyber scam center, also in Myanmar.
Okay.
They give us client number. We make relationship with him. When client say, I love you, then we start wash his brain.
Jesus.
Right now, a flood of drugs, crime, and other...
It's insane how people are so desperate for human connection that they can that they can fall in love with someone forced to work in a scam center. You would think that their riz wouldn't be that high when they're like locked into a factory building and forced to scam you.
Illicit materials are coming from Myanmar, which the Organized Crime Index now ranks as the new crime capital of the world.
Myanmar.
It's a shocking reversal for a country that just a few years ago was being celebrated for its democratic transformation.
The country has fallen deeper and deeper into a dystopia. The economy has collapsed. The country has become a source of refugees and misery, but along the way, also of a lot of criminal activity.
So why is so much crime concentrated in Myanmar? And is anyone looking for a solution, or are they making it worse?
I would like to know. Tell me, Search Party.
Many of Myanmar's problems began before it was an independent country.
Gold?
For more than 50 years, it was a British colony called Burma. During World War II, it was the site of vicious fighting.
Blasting the Jap with bomb and shell, they're holding open the Burma Road of the air.
In 1948, the Burmese won
Chavs
independence,
were involved?
but the new government faced a challenge. Its people were divided into several ethnic groups, and many wanted autonomy. Some formed ethnic militias. Then after just a decade, the Burmese military toppled the government, seized control, and started fighting the militias.
Okay.
This conflict would last for decades and would make it impossible for Burma to build a legitimate economy.
Yeah, it tends to
It
be
should be one of the richest countries in Southeast Asia because in many ways its natural endowment is quite spectacular.
Sean Turnell is an economist and former advisor to Myanmar's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi.
Unfortunately, though, it's just fallen by the wayside because of these constant interventions of the military. And they bring into the country a very doctrinaire version of state socialism. And so Myanmar becomes one of the poorest countries on the earth.
In the absence of a legitimate economy, many Burmese people instead made a living in the illegal economy. In the remote Shan state, that meant growing opium.
Okay.
It's the main ingredient in heroin. And up here, far from the military's control, drug lords grew a ton of it. Opium production picked up as heroin became more popular. Shan State, along with parts of Laos and Thailand, became known as the Golden Triangle,
Okay.
the most productive area for
said.
opium in the world behind Afghanistan. The opium trade added fuel to Burma's conflict. The military government allowed proxy militias to sell opium abroad in exchange for their loyalty, while ethnic militias taxed or trafficked opium and used the revenue to buy weapons and raise armies.
Okay. It's a virtuous
Hidden in the
cycle.
jungles of Burma is an army, 15,000 strong. These men are training for combat like soldiers everywhere. Only this is a private army, financed.
These are the kind of manufacturing jobs the USA needs back. Let's get into opium. Okay, my fellow Americans? They say it's sad and bad, but this army is singing. They're having a good time. We could have private militias rolling through the streets singing beautiful songs. America the Beautiful or something.
By drug money.
I just want to be part of something.
In the 2000s, the ethnic militias, along with economic sanctions imposed by other countries, pressured the military to make some reforms. It released political prisoners like Aung San Suu Kyi, and even allowed her party, the National League for Democracy, to run in elections.
Okay.
In 2015, the NLD won a majority, and Aung San Suu Kyi became the de facto leader of the country, since renamed Myanmar.
Okay.
Her government worked to reduce violence and crime. It even reduced opium production. For the first time in decades, elected leaders were making progress in Myanmar.
Okay.
But the military wouldn't let them get far.
This woman is recording a workout video, all while a military coup is going on behind her.
This was crazy. This is like an iconic video of the time. Like when they do a look back at the 2020s or whatever, like this is going to be an iconic video. It's a metaphor for RA. It's like it's such a powerful video unintentionally.
Who is going on behind her?
The NLD is in power, but the military is not far away.
Democracy comes, but the overall constitution still allowed immense say of the military. They completely controlled not only their own budget and all the other security forces like the police.
This is what I thought would happen in Nepal, and I guess technically still could. Not even technically, it just could. But this is what I thought would happen. That's why I was so surprised it didn't work out that way, at least initially.
Police and the courts and all that, but also an ability to intervene at any point of their choosing.
The military chose February 1st, 2021.
They appear to have moved today to neutralize the government.
Aung San Suu Kyi and other civilian leaders have been detained.
At least 90 people have been shot dead in Myanmar.
After the military seized back power, some of Aung San Suu Kyi's supporters formed a shadow government with an armed wing. Then the military launched attacks all over the country, reigniting Myanmar's civil war.
Another civil war.
This time, it's deadlier than ever. In 4 years, the war has killed 75,000 people and displaced 3 million. In 2025, a massive earthquake struck Myanmar, destroying what little economy there was left. Now, there are hundreds of armed groups fighting in this war.
Dude, an earthquake on top of your second civil war is fucking crazy. That's why I'm always like, this is probably such a crazy non sequitur. And it's not important. And I'm not knocking you if you believe. But it makes it so hard for me to be like, really? You think there's a God watching? And, like, really? Like, God is like watching Myanmar and going, yeah, let me throw a fucking earthquake in there. It'll make them, it's like, I find it all to be so. But again, I understand that I'm not a Redditor. Okay, I'm not tipping Fedora. I don't care. You're allowed to believe what you want. That's for me personally. It's like, come on.
But they mostly fall into 3 categories.
However, I do want to say, obviously, what I'm trying to imply is that God is not real when it comes to natural disasters and countries. He is real when it comes to my parlays. He does care who wins, okay? And the side that prays more will get their team to win. He watches all sports. He's deeply involved. I just want to be clear, that is 100% true. I don't want to downplay that.
Military and its proxy militias, the pro-democracy rebels and allied ethnic militias, and the ethnic militias not aligned with either side. Each of these groups control chunks of territory, where they are protecting and even relying on criminal enterprises to stay in the fight. In Shan State, the military and militias are once again turning to opium, but so are armed groups in the north and west. The result is more than twice as much opium is being produced in Myanmar.
The thing I think about when I see this, I think like young people armed to the teeth, fighting for their lives, death and destruction across the country. And I think of how many fake revolutionaries we have online who they can't even fucking answer a phone call. You can't even talk on the phone. And you're like, no, but seriously though, I'm going to pick up an AK-47 and go across this war-torn country and fight. Like, let's be fucking real. Let's be real, dude. You're not even going to take a manufacturing job in a stable society, let alone fight a war in an unstable one. Social anxiety is real. Listen, I want to coup, I really do, but like my ADHD makes it so I can't fixate on one Capitol building at the time.
And west. The result is more than twice as much opium is being produced in Myanmar today than before the coup, and twice as much opium as Afghanistan, making it the world's lead.
Bro, I gotta say, if there's one thing these roving bands of ethnic militias are good at, it is increasing the output of opium. If Tesla could do this with car sales, it would be one of the greatest business turnarounds of all time. They're at least running an operation that is growing YOY pretty good
today than before the coup, and twice as much opium as Afghanistan, making it the world's leading producer.
Do you guys think, what's
militias
crazy?
in Shan and Kachin states are also fostering a new drug trade. Synthetic drugs, particularly methamphetamine. Drug lords are importing precursor chemicals and equipment from China and India to make pills, like ketamine, and this caffeine-meth combo called yaba.
Yaba? They're mixing caffeine with meth? Dude, I gotta say, for a war-torn, maybe nominally socialist country, they got capitalism down for drugs, bro. They're innovating. They're increasing year-over-year production. They're increasing output. They're adding new variations and flavors for market demand. There's a hustle. They're girl bossing, bro. Yaba? Yaba's a good brand name. I want to pop a Yaba on my way to work. It's got a red pill. This is branding, dude. This is good. What was the other one?
From China and India to make pills, like ketamine. And this caffeine-meth combo called yaba.
I feel like they're not making enough ketamine because I look at this picture.
India to make pills, like ketamine.
I look at this picture and this is Elon Musk's daily dose. This is probably not enough for Elon to get through a week. So they need to, they're very low on the ket production is all I got to say.
And this caffeine-meth combo called yaba. Now Myanmar is the leading producer of synthetic drugs too. But not every group relies on drugs. Both the military and militias are illegally mining jade.
Jade?
It's a precious stone found in the north of Myanmar. Jade. So many mines are popping up there that the land is literally collapsing.
Very few survived the initial landslide.
Jesus
More than 250 people died in similar accidents in Myanmar's jade mines last year.
Armed groups are profiting by selling the jade to customers in China and India. Despite the war, 70% of the world's jade now comes from Myanmar. The military and militias are also profiting from illegal gold mines, rare earth mineral mines, and timber. Anything valuable in Myanmar, they're selling off. But some groups are profiting by bringing a new criminal enterprise into Myanmar.
The buildings you can see behind me, that's one of maybe up to 30 scam compounds.
It's a multi-billion-dollar crime industry.
The scam phone call.
They persuade people all over the world to part with their savings.
Online scam centers were originally formed by criminal groups in China. But when the Chinese government cracked down, many fled across the border to Myanmar. There, they found the military and some militias were willing to protect them in exchange for a cut of their profits. Once protected, scam centers spread along the Thai border and further inland. Now, scam centers are flourishing.
Dude, I wonder if this is the group that got my Twitter hacked. I guess not. Probably not. Probably just a dude. But Kit Boga? Kit Boga's the one-man warrior against all these dots. There is one man in the West that is standing against this scam call invasion. It's Kit Boga. Ari's a big fan of Kit Boga's videos, and I often hear her listening to his videos and laughing her ass off. It's crazy how good he is at what he does. Although now I feel kind of weird about it now that I think about it because, in my mind, everyone that he's scamming is doing it for their own profit. But now I'm picturing someone chained to a desk with a gun pointed at them that's desperately trying to get this scam done. And I don't want to think about that. That's not gonna cross my mind listening to Kit Boga, but
they're inland. Now, scam centers are flourishing. One study estimates Southeast Asia scam centers have swindled $75 billion out of people. And the UN estimates there are more than 120,000 people being forced to work in them. Many are among the millions in Myanmar displaced by the war.
I receive punch every day. We were working for 18 hours without salary.
Jesus.
They didn't allow us to contact our family.
Myanmar's military, ethnic militias, and armed groups are using all this crime to buy weapons and fuel the...
Can I say? This just makes me think people watch my Big A channel and they're like, it's too depressing. It's imagine the Big A channel from Myanmar, dude. Imagine Imagine if we had like constant war-torn strife, civil war, fucking earthquake on top of it. You know, it's like relatively, our problems are solvable.
War. The victims, though, are all over the world. Ethiopians, Indonesians, even Brazilians have been rescued from scam centers. And over 40,000 Americans have been scammed out of $3.5 billion, all while heroin and meth floods foreign streets. Myanmar's neighbors, Thailand and India, are launching raids into Myanmar and even cutting power to the scam centers. But the rest of the world isn't taking much action.
Myanmar has been forgotten. And what worries me is that there's many other countries as well who just find Myanmar a nuisance.
One of those countries is the United States. In the 2020s, the U.S. gave Myanmar more than $200 million a year to support refugee camps, pro-democracy organizations, and education. But in 2025, the Trump administration cut that aid down to just $4 million. And as the U.S. steps away from Myanmar, China is stepping in. The scam centers are a big problem for China. Many of them target and even abduct Chinese citizens. An uproar erupted when this famous Chinese actor was rescued from one.
Oh, wow.
So China's backing some militias along its border who launch attacks and close the scam centers. But at the same time, China is supporting the militia's enemy, Myanmar's military. China's given the military fighter jets, drones, and missiles, and more than $3 billion in assistance. Supporting both sides is a way for China to protect its own interests. China relies on Myanmar to access the Indian Ocean and is getting the military and militias to protect a key oil pipeline.
Okay.
But it's also a way for China to keep Myanmar under its thumb. Southeast Asian countries are choosing between China and the US. While Myanmar is firmly on China's side, it could drift towards the US if pro-democracy militias win the war. So China's supporting anyone who will stop them. In August, China endorsed Myanmar's military's announcement that it would hold elections later this year. But it will ban the NLD, and so many view the elections as a sham, even a plan engineered by China. Ultimately, China wants to protect its own influence in Myanmar.
Previous winning. If you coup a party that won a democratic election, then host a new election where that party can't run. It's not a real election, obviously.
Even if it extends the war, the crime, and the suffering of a country whose crisis is only getting worse.
The military are hanging on by being especially brutal. They deliberately target civilian populations to spread the horror, to spread the terror. So I'm afraid there's more of that to come.
That was good journalism. That was a peak video.